Ladies and gentlemen, this moment you're living through, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the silence, it feels like a dead end, doesn't it? It feels like the weight of life has finally broken something inside you. You thought this chapter was the conclusion. You thought the tears meant it was over. But I came to tell you this is not your ending. This is your becoming. What looks like death is often a disguise for birth. The greatest transformations don't happen in the spotlight. They happen in the shadows, in the dark, in the isolation. You're not being buried, you're being planted. And every seed that's ever bloomed first had to be hidden beneath the dirt, crushed by the pressure, soaked in the rain, and left alone with nothing but the quiet voice of destiny whispering, hold on. So if you're crawling right now, if you're broken, if you're wondering if this is it, let me speak directly to your soul. This is not the end. This is the place where greatness begins. This is the moment your old self starts dying so your true self can be born. The caterpillar thinks its world is ending, but it's really just the beginning of wings. God does his finest work in the dark. Miracles grow in the soil of pain. Glory is forged in the fires of pressure. Stop looking for peace and comfort. The peace you're seeking lives in purpose, and purpose is often born in pain. You're not stuck, you're in transition, you're not defeated. You're under construction. Don't rush the process. Don't resent the silence. What you feel right now is the stretching of your soul, preparing for capacity you didn't know you needed. Life doesn't break you to destroy you. It breaks you to remake you. You asked for strength, didn't you? Then expect resistance. You prayed for purpose, didn't you? Then expect pressure. You cannot carry glory without first surviving the grinding. The pit is not a prison, it's preparation. And your transition is not a punishment. It's a promise. Something better is coming. Something greater is forming. You just can't see it yet. But trust me, heaven is not blind to your tears, and destiny is not deaf to your cries. You're not forgotten. You're not abandoned. You're just in the middle of the miracle. The pain will pass. The storm will settle, but when it's over, you will not be the same. You'll rise with fire in your bones. You'll speak with power in your voice. You'll walk with purpose in your step, and the world will wonder how you made it, but you'll know it wasn't the end, it was the transition. The moment everything shifted. The moment you stopped surviving and started becoming. This is where legends are born. This is where destiny takes over. This right here is the turning point. Stop crying over what left. Stop mourning what you lost. It didn't walk away to hurt you. It walked away because it could no longer go where you're destined to grow. Some things weren't stolen from you. They were removed for you. What you thought was the end of something beautiful was really the beginning of something necessary. What walked out was not your future. It was a piece of your past making room for something greater. That relationship, that job, that dream you clung to, it wasn't your forever. It was a stepping stone, not the summit. Don't confuse seasonal people with lifelong purpose. Don't confuse temporary roles with permanent identity. Everything that left you had an expiration date, and now life is clearing the stage so the real performance can begin. You're not cursed. You're being cleared. The pruning feels painful, but it's proof that fruit is coming. If you weren't valuable, the enemy wouldn't be trying so hard to distract you with loss. You've been so focused on what broke that you haven't noticed what's being built. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it shook you. But don't you dare let what left convince you that nothing remains. You still have breath. You still have fire. You still have purpose. And no one can steal what God has stored in your future. What's ahead is not a repeat of what was. It's a resurrection of what's meant to be. And sometimes to get there, everything familiar has to fall away. It's not rejection, it's redirection. It's not subtraction, it's strategy. You're not being punished, you're being positioned. So wipe your tears, lift your head, and square your shoulders. Because what's coming doesn't resemble what's gone. What's coming is the result of what you survived. You didn't come this far to collapse. You came this far to cross over. The pain was real, but the growth is unstoppable. The heartbreak was real, but your healing will be undeniable. You're about to rise into rooms that your past couldn't fit into. You're about to wear crowns that the old version of you couldn't carry, and that's why it had to go. That's why they had to walk. That's why the door had to close. Don't cling to ashes when beauty is on the way. Don't stare at the grave when resurrection is whispering your name. You haven't lost your life. You've lost your limits. You haven't lost your identity. You've lost your illusions. And now you're finally free to become. So let it go, bless it, release it, and prepare for overflow. Because what's coming next won't look like recovery. It'll look like reward. You are not empty. You are not broken. You are in transition. And what felt like a goodbye was really God saying, now you're ready for more. You prayed, you believed, you waited, and yet nothing moved. Doors stayed shut, answers stayed silent. And you started to wonder, did God forget me? But I'm here to tell you, delay is not denial. Delay is not God rejecting you. Delay is the furnace where champions are forged. The silence is not proof that you're forgotten. It's proof that something deeper is happening. You are not stuck. You are in development. When the answer is delayed, it's because the blessing is being prepared or because you are. And if you receive too soon, you might collapse under the very thing you prayed for. That's why the delay exists. Not to crush you, but to craft you. Not to hurt you. See, everyone wants destiny, but no one wants the discipline that shapes it. Everyone wants the reward, but not the refinement. But real growth, lasting transformation doesn't happen on the mountaintop. It happens in the middle. It happens when you can't see the way forward, but you keep walking anyway. It happens when your heart is heavy, but you refuse to give up. Every minute of silence, every unanswered prayer, every closed door is working something in you that comfort never could. You're building spiritual muscle. You're learning to walk by faith, not by sight. You're learning to stand without applause, to fight without validation, to trust without evidence. And that kind of strength, that kind of fire can't be faked. It's earned in the waiting room of destiny. So if life hasn't moved yet, it doesn't mean you're failing. It means the foundation is still being laid. God doesn't build skyscrapers on shaky soil. He takes his time. Because when he builds you to last. You don't need a quick blessing. You need an enduring breakthrough. One that can stand the storms, carry the weight, and lift others with you. And that kind of breakthrough requires delay. It requires process. And it requires trust. Don't misinterpret the delay as absence. Don't confuse silence for abandonment. The teacher is always silent during the tests, but the presence is still there. And maybe this season is your test. Maybe this is the place where your character is catching up to your calling. So stay planted, stay faithful, stay expectant, because when God moves, it won't be a trickle, it'll be a flood. And when the door opens, it won't just be an answer, it will be everything you prayed for and more. Every second of delay will make sense when the promise comes crashing through. You'll see that God was never late. He was on schedule, building something in you that was never supposed to break, preparing a future that was never supposed to fail. And when it comes, you'll say, I'm glad it didn't come sooner, because now I'm ready. Your life is not over. It's about to take a turn. You think this chapter has ruined the story. You think the setback disqualified you, but hear me, every great story has a plot twist. Every hero has a turning point where the world counts them out, but purpose calls them back in. This isn't the moment you fall apart. This is the moment everything shifts. What looks like your breakdown is actually the setup for your breakthrough. What feels like the end is simply the moment your real story begins. You're not disqualified. You're being rewritten. And when the author of your life holds the pen, no failure, no loss, no betrayal can erase what's still being written. This detour you didn't ask for. It's part of the design. You thought you knew how the path would unfold. You had it mapped out. You saw the destination, but not the process. And that's the thing. God rarely shows you the process. He reveals the promise, then leads you through pain to prepare you for it. The delay, the confusion, the heartbreak, it's not random. It's not wasted. You're not off track. You're exactly where the turning point begins. So don't close the book just because this chapter is hard to read. Turn the page. You thought it would look like triumph, but transformation never starts with celebration. It starts with chaos, with broken plans, with closed doors. And if you'll hold on, if you'll dare to believe through the silence and the storm, you'll discover that what looked like ruin was actually resurrection. The ashes are not your ending. They're your anointing. The pain is not your prison. It's your platform. You're not being left behind. You're being lifted up. And when the dust settles, people won't even recognize you. They'll see the same name, but not the same spirit, because something inside you shifted. Something inside you rose. So don't you dare give up in the middle. Don't you let your emotions vote on your destiny. Emotions lie. Purpose doesn't. And purpose always rises in the rubble. This twist in your story isn't here to end you. It's here to elevate you. And the greatness inside of you, the real you, is about to walk through a door that pain prepared you to enter. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Because when your story turns, it'll silence every critic and inspire every soul. This is not the conclusion. It's the moment you rise from the ashes and say, that was the plot twist, and I survived it. Now watch what happens next. You are not being destroyed, you are being deployed. The storm didn't come to end you, it came to send you. You were never meant to stay where you were. Comfort is not your calling. Safety is not your assignment. You were born to shake the ground, to shift atmospheres, to walk into dark places and carry light. And sometimes, to get you to move, life has to break what kept you still. The pain was a punishment. It was a push. That betrayal wasn't to wound you. It was to wake you. God didn't allow the storm to sink you. He allowed it to summon you into a higher version of yourself, because destiny doesn't ask for permission. It demands transformation. And now you're stepping into the reason you survived. You've been through enough battles to know the taste of blood. You've cried silent tears that no one saw. You fought wars in your mind and still showed up for life. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're ready. Ready for what's next. Ready to be launched into something greater. You didn't go through hell just to go back to normal. You didn't walk through fire just to sit down in fear. You're not broken. You're battle tested. You're not damaged. You're dangerous. Because when someone comes out of a storm still standing, still breathing, still believing, they don't return to the same level. They rise. And when you rise, you don't rise quietly. You rise like a force. You rise with authority. You rise like someone who knows the pit, but chose the palace. Like someone who lost everything but found themselves in the ashes. This transition isn't about comfort. It's about calling. It's about stepping into the assignment that the enemy tried everything to stop. You didn't survive for survival's sake. You survived because there's work to do, lives to touch, chains to break, rooms to walk into, with fire in your voice and power in your presence. And you're not walking in as the same person who was knocked down. You're walking in with oil on your scars and glory in your steps. The weight you carried, it made you stronger. The nights you thought would break you, they built your backbone. And now you're not asking for the storm to pass. You are the storm. So take this moment and understand you are being sent, not as a victim, not as a survivor, but as a warrior on assignment. You are not empty. You're equipped. You are not broken. You're chosen. This is your deployment. Your destiny isn't coming, it's here. And when you step into it, nothing will be the same, not because of what happened to you, but because of what awakened in you. This is not destruction. This is deployment.